You've got questions, we've got answers. Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, answering the questions that new leaders ask us. Actually, it's our goal to help all leaders be more successful, productive, and confident. Today, we're talking about starting your day. Are you ready? Let's go. Today, I have a question for you, not from you. And the question is, how do you start your workday? Now, I'm not talking about what you do when you first get out of bed or all that stuff. There's good stuff we could talk about there in terms of morning routines. But I'm talking about your morning routine when you get to work. Now, if you're like me, you may get to work before anybody else. And so I'm not even talking about what you do about getting your coffee and when you read your email and all that. I'm talking about what's your routine when your team arrives. And so my question to you is, what do you do then? Do you even think about it? Do you even know what you do? Because the thing is, how you start your day with your team matters a lot because they're noticing and it sets the tone for everything. So I have 4 pieces of advice for you for when your team arrives. Are you ready? First off is do a tour. Well, now if you're on a plant floor, in a shop floor, in a warehouse, you want to walk around and see everybody and say good morning. That's the second thing on the list. Say good morning. The tour might look like people walk by your door and you may not have to get up, but in most cases, we need to get up and take a tour, being intentional, being obvious that we're making the effort to come see folks. And when we go see them, the first thing we do is, as I've already said, is say good morning. Now, that's not hard. You can say good morning. Even the most introverted among us can say good morning. The third thing on this list is make a connection. I believe you're going to make a connection simply by looking people in the eye and saying good morning with a smile on your face. But making a connection might be a little bit more. You ask people about their weekend. You say a little bit about the ball game, whatever that might be. And we're not talking about a long conversation. We're talking about making a connection, right? And the fourth thing is to get the pulse. This is the thing you're getting from doing the tour, by managing, by walking around, as Peters and Waterman called it. But if you are out and about, you're getting a pulse of what's going on, how people are feeling, how people are approaching their day, and maybe even what's happened since yesterday in terms of your numbers or your production or whatever. Get the pulse. These are 4 things that I want you to do. Do a tour, say good morning, make a connection, get the pulse. Well, now you're saying, Kevin, wait a minute. Some of my people are remote. They're not all here. What do I do then? Well, you've got some of your folks that definitely want you to do the same for them. A quick note in an email, a quick text, a quick IM, whatever that might be. Figure out how you're going to make those connections with the individuals that work for you remotely. It might not be quite the same. It might not be everybody every morning, but make sure you're doing the same kinds of things for them too. You've got 2 more questions because I've heard them before. The one is, Kevin, I don't have time for this. How am I supposed to do this? I don't have the time. I'm saying it's your job. You got to make the time. I'm saying that a lot of the other problems that show up in your work and the conflicts between your team members show up in part because you're not doing this stuff. You're not making a connection. You're not getting connected with your team. Take the time to do it. Make the time to do it. It doesn't have to take very long. It'll be a time well spent. And the other question people ask is, well, Kevin, I got people that don't want me to do this. They just want to get their heads down and do their work. To which I would say, respectfully, poppycock. Like, you've got some people, everybody wants you to say good morning to them. Everyone wants to feel a connection to their boss. Not everyone wants you to have the 2 or 3 minute conversation. And some people will want to have the longer than 2 or 3 minute conversation, and you're going to have to manage and balance that too, and that's okay. Don't not go because you're afraid you might have a long conversation. Don't not go because you think someone doesn't care. They care. Take a minute, make the time, and do it. If you want to be a more effective leader, if you want to build relationships with your team, take the time to start your day by connecting with them. Let me close with today's tweet. Choose to interact with your team early in the day. It sets a great example and creates a climate for encouragement and growth. You know, every week I create another video to include here to help new leaders like you be more successful. And every week we're adding more content, whether it's video, whether it's blog posts or whatever. There's a ton of stuff here. It's all here for you. Yes, on this site there are things you can pay us for, and we'd be happy to work with you in that way. But the point here is there's free resources, available to help you become the leader you were born to be. I hope you'll take advantage of them, and I hope you'll join me for another episode of one of these videos.